Point of View, GLASW, second grade virtual ELA lesson, week 6. Hello, Dazzling Stars. Hello, Royal Stars. Hello, All Stars. I'm missing all of your beautiful and handsome faces, but I am so glad that you are here listening to this week's ELA lesson, watching our virtual video, and getting ready to do and be excellent in all the work you submit this week. So, on that note, let's get started. Your ELA objective for this week is: I can identify a character's point of view by focusing on who is telling the story. What is point of view? As you can see, we have a question mark, and above these question marks are speech bubbles. We will make a connection with them when I'm explaining what point of view is. Let's take a look at this anchor chart. This anchor chart tells us what point of view is. So the definition of point of view is who is telling the story. So I want you to think back to the slide before this one that had the question marks and the speech bubbles. Speech bubbles normally represent the words that a character is saying. So when you're thinking about point of view, I want you to think about the words that the storyteller is using or saying. So as you can see on this slide, it shows you that point of view can show up in a story in 3 different ways. You have your first person point of view, your second person point of view, and your third person point of view. We will discuss each one of these separately so that we can get a clearer picture of what each one of these mean. Let's discuss first person point of view. When a story is being told using the first person point of view, it means the story is actually being told by one of the characters. Some of the keywords to focus on when trying to determine if it's first person point of view are the words I, me, my, mine, us, we, our, or ours. So these are just some of the keywords to focus on to tell whether or not this story is being told in a first person point of view. Let's go over the example that's at the bottom of this section. The example reads, "The crowd cheered as I flew across the finish line. Our team was heading to the finals." As you can see, the word I and the word our are written in bolder print to show that this story is being told by one of the characters. Now let's look at second person point of view. In second person point of view, the narrator is talking to the reader. That means the person who is telling the story is talking directly to the person who is reading it. So some keywords to focus on when you are trying to determine if it's second person point of view are the words you and your. As you can see, under the word you in parentheses is the word recipe. So normally when you're reading a recipe, it is the narrator trying to tell you what you need to do and what you need to have in order to create or make something. And under the word your in parentheses are the words how to text. So when you are hearing the word your, it's normally in something that is written that's trying to tell you how to do something. So let's look at our example at the bottom of this page. It says to make lemonade, you add the juice of lemons to water and sugar. And as you can see, the word you is in bold print because the writer, the narrator, is telling you what you need in order to make lemonade. Our second example says you must be the change to make the world a better place. Again, the word you is in bold print because the narrator is telling you what they think you must do in order to make the world a better place. Lastly, let's discuss third person point of view. In third person point of view, the story is told by the narrator from the outside looking in. So when I say this, I want you to think about if there was something happening outside on our schoolyard and you had to go to one of the adults to tell them what is happening or what happened. This is the same way as you are the narrator describing and telling about what occurred out on a playground. Some of the key words that you should look for in trying to determine third person point of view are the words he, him, his, she, her, they, their, them, and names. So let's look at our example. The first example says, Charlie walked by his friends as they turned around and started whispering and laughing. So as you can see, the word Charlie is written in bolder print because it's the name of someone. The word his and they are also written in bolder print because the person who is telling the story is telling it from their point of view, how they saw the story happening and the events happening from the outside of the story. This week's read aloud is the true story of the three little pigs. I really enjoy listening to this version of this story. I know that some of you have heard it before and really like this story, so I hope you enjoy listening to the read aloud again. Now let's do an example together. I'm going to read the first couple of pages of the true story of the three little pigs, and I want you to see if you can identify who is telling the story and from what point of view is the story being told from. Here's a hint. While listening to me read, focus on the keywords. So we're going to get started with our first couple of pages. Here we go. Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Wolf. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. I wonder if you were able to identify the key word. The key words in these first couple of pages is my. And so, if you think about the word my, is that first person, second person, or third person point of view? And then I wonder if you could tell who was telling the story. Well, if you said the wolf, and this is first person point of view because the key word was my, then good job, good job. So I want you to focus on all the keywords and what the wolf is saying and what his point of view is as you listen to this week's read aloud. Here again are some important reminders of what good readers do. They visualize, they form those I wonder questions, and they're always thinking about what they are reading. Before we close, I want to remind you about this week's objective. I can identify a character's point of view by focusing on who is telling the story. So remember, we have already identified who is telling the story, which is the wolf. We've also identified that he is telling it from a first person's point of view because we could point out the keyword my. So as you're moving along this week and you're doing your activities, I want you to focus on all the ways that the wolf is telling the story from his point of view. I hope you enjoyed this week's lesson, and until next week, stay safe and have a great week on purpose. Bye.